I want everybody to know that I am running for president of the United States of America. Everybody's got to know that I'm running really not to beat anybody. I'm running to unite people.
Hope you are not running out of room on your Dems running for president list, because Cory Booker is adding himself into the mix there, the Democratic senator from New Jersey, joining 7 other Democrats who are exploring or definitely running. And take a look, his senior advisor sharing this video of him filling out his paperwork with his mom by his side. The announcement coming on the first day of Black History Month. Booker coming out the gate with a bunch of radio interviews this morning and this video on Twitter. Watch.
I believe that we can build a country where no one is forgotten, no one is left behind, where we see the faces of our leaders on television and feel pride, not shame.
Joining me now, MSNBC's Garrett Haake over on Capitol Hill, MSNBC political contributor Jason Johnson, politics editor for The Root, A.B. Stoddard, Aaron Blake join us as well. So, Garrett, let me start with you here. Where does Cory Booker go next? I'm guessing it's either Iowa or South Carolina or New Hampshire or Nevada.
This is not your first rodeo, Hallie. He will be hitting the road starting in earnest next weekend, headed to Iowa first, then to South Carolina. That's a state that will be a big deal for him. The majority of Democratic primary voters there are African Americans. Expect to see him spend a lot of time down in South Carolina. The following weekend, he'll head up to New Hampshire, and we'll be seeing him on the road quite a bit in these early states. And here's what I think we'll hear from him. We're going to hear Cory Booker talking a lot in that kind of optimistic tone that you heard in the radio interview and in his announcement video. You're going to hear him talking about getting things done in a bipartisan way. He'll talk about the criminal justice reform bill, for example, that just passed. That's something he'd been working on for quite a while. And I think you'll hear him talk a lot about his tenure as the mayor of Newark, New Jersey, his hometown where he still lives. This idea of mayors being folks who are accountable and have to get things done. And Hallie, I don't know if he'll talk about this, but I certainly will. He's probably the only Democratic presidential contender with significant yards after the catch. That's Cory Booker there playing football for Stanford. Sports Illustrated dug up that video today and tweeted it out along with his announcement video today. So a little bit of everything from the junior senator from New Jersey.
That is for sure. And Garrett, you're doing double duty covering both his race and what he's been up to in the Senate. Jason, let me bring you in here because we want to talk about what these folks are running on. These Democrats who are getting into the race, where do they stand on some of the issues? So for Booker, it's about Medicare for all. It's about the Green New Deal. This is something that is potentially going to be a litmus test for these Democratic candidates. He's been big on criminal justice reform. He was a key part of that bill that passed that Jared Kushner was heavily involved in. Minimum wage, fighting wealth inequality as well. Talk through where you see Cory Booker on this spectrum, and there is a spectrum of Democratic candidates.
To be perfectly candid, Cory Booker is another corporate Democrat. I mean, he's not on the left. He's got pharmaceutical money coming out of every single orifice. And lots of people on the far left of the party have had problems with Booker about that, as well as they have issues with Harris and some of the other candidates on those issues. Where I think Cory Booker really stands out is 2 things. One, he's one of the only Democrats running right now who has executive experience. So regardless of where he may stand on the litmus test, he has been a mayor. He can say, hey, the buck stopped with me. I handled this issue and that issue. He also has done criminal justice reform with Rand Paul, of all people. So he can talk about, I have been able to build bridges with Republicans in different kinds of administrations. I think Senator Booker has got a really, really hard challenge here. This is a very tough field. But I would say compared to the rest, his executive experience, and look, yes, he's got yards after the catch. He's the only one with a documentary. I suggest everybody out there watch Street Fight. It's a documentary about the first time Cory Booker ran for mayor. You'll learn a lot about how he views himself as a candidate and how he might run in 2020.
Let me bring in Aaron and AB here because Jason colorfully talked about the money piece of this, right? Booker's campaign does say he will be rejecting corporate PAC, lobbyist money as well. That was not always his position, right? You had Booker accepting $4.5 million just about from donors who were employed in financial services during his 2014 Senate campaign, which is more than other Senate candidates who were running that year.
I just remember back in the 2012 presidential campaign when Barack Obama and his campaign were attacking Mitt Romney for his work in private equity with Bain Capital. There was a moment in that campaign where Cory Booker made the decision to come out and say, this is not right. We should not be attacking private equity. A couple days later, he was forced to reverse course rather quickly. This is the area where he comes from. It's kind of his constituency. When he first ran for mayor of Newark against the Democratic establishment, how he squares that circle in a Democratic Party that is increasingly moving away from that is going to be very interesting to find out.
He's been talking a lot today. We have some new video. He's arriving to The View. He'll be on that program later on this morning, talking through where he stands on some of the positions. It's his first on-camera appearance since that announcement early this morning.
I think that what people underestimate about Cory Booker is not only, as Jason pointed out, his executive experience, his real heft in public service. He's obviously went to Stanford and Yale Law School and is very smart, but he has a real magic charm. And so his plan to come in, compete for African-American voters with Kamala Harris is to sort of position himself somewhere between that apology and being a pro-business Democrat who doesn't scare the business community and really turn on this sort of electrifying, affable, persona, which, Obama was cool, but Cory Booker's cool and he's really, really warm. Kamala Harris is running as the cool cat grown-up. He's going to have a different play. And right now, they're not that differentiated policy-wise. Yeah. So I think it's a question of sort of making a splash, coming in strong, making people forget the Spartacus moment at the Kavanaugh hearing, which is really embarrassing. I'm not going to count him out. I think he has longevity in this race.
Jason, jump in here, and I want to hear from you, too, as we talk about the other opponents for Cory Booker in this race. There's reporting from Politico that there was a behind-the-scenes scramble from both of these candidates to get support from the Congressional Black Caucus. Booker apparently on the phone last night with members of that caucus. How do you see that playing out?
No, it's not going to matter right now, Hallie. Everyone's going to give you a polite church clap. Thank you very much for running. That's nice. No one is going to commit. It's February 1st of 2019. Right. No one in the Congressional Black Caucus is committing to anyone. So if Cory Booker goes to Ohio, yes, Marcia Fudge is going to meet with him, and she will also meet with Kamala Harris, and she'll also meet with Warren and Castro. No one is going to put down their stake on any candidate right now. But I'll tell you this, the people who they want to meet with, even more so than the Congressional Black Caucus, they want to meet with Justin Fairfax in Virginia. They want to be caught having dinner with Stacey Abrams in Georgia. There are lots of different powerful, influential African Americans in the country that both Harris and definitely Booker will want to be seen with before anyone in the CBC.
And you see that happening, what, in the next few months, in the next 6 months, timeline-wise?
That's going to be happening. That's going to be happening in the next week. I mean, I promise you. The phone calls have already been going out to these state-level executives. And look, both of these candidates know that their success. Look, maybe Cory Booker can win in Iowa. I don't know. Maybe Harris can win in Iowa. She doesn't know. But they both know this: they've got to clear at least 40% of the African-American vote in South Carolina to be considered viable, either as a presidential candidate or even as a VP.
A lot of nods around the table on that one. Jason Johnson, love having you on. Thank you, pal. Appreciate it. Garrett Haake, have fun on the Hill today. We'll see you later on. A.B. Aaron, stick around because what are the chances, right, that the nation's top spies do